Copyright 2025. All rights are reserved.
The march to freedom is long, and it must continue to evolve.
Led by God and grounded in Scripture.
March to freedom must be righteous, with a focus on accountability and sustainability to ensure that we leave no man behind.
Have the courage to do the right thing and get yourself a red Bible.
As we unleash the minds, you can be confident that the revolution is alive, and we will continue to document it.
This is Freedom March.
This is Freedom March. Hello, welcome to Freedom March. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Levan Miller. You're listening to us on 103.5 The Beat FM, channel 224, that's on cable, channel 112, that's on floor, and of course, on ILTV Studios, where you should be following us on Facebook. But wherever you're choosing to listen to us, I want to say thank you so much for listening to us. It is Friday. And on Fridays, you know, like always, let me firstly say that Bradley Roll, the spiritual advisor extraordinary and plenipotentiary, is here with me. Bradley Roll, once again, welcome to Freedom March.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
Good. And if it is Friday, then you know that I like to give away my piece of advice for all of those people that will get to the happy houring before the show is over. I want you to go out and about. I want you to go to and fro. I want you to go fro and to. I want you to soak yourselves in frolic. I want you to have a wonderful time. I want you to have what the Flintstones would ordinarily refer to as a yabba dabba do time this Friday and all of this weekend, actually. Go saunter about, sashay about, wet up yourself with delight. When you get in the bar, let the girls know that the boys have been paid and that drinks are for all of the pretty girls. I want you to go into the places that you water, and I want you to wet the bar. That is what I want from you. But in all of your doing, I want you to ensure that none of your behavior this weekend either adds to or takes away from the population this weekend. That is what we require from you here on Freedom March. That is our charge to you here on Freedom March, like we do every Friday. I want you to be overtaken with acts, some of the flesh. I want you to make sure that you do all of the things that your heart desires to do. Make sure that you fill yourself with it and that there is no space or any lack once you've done all of the things that your mind and your heart has advised you to do this weekend. There is no need to think about it. For all we have in life is now. And failing to act now puts you in a category that the English language calls a procrastinator. And you don't want to go down in life as a procrastinator. And so, my friends, I say to you, do not miss any opportunity to enjoy any of the things that you deem enjoyable this weekend. Make good of all of the opportunities that will come your way this weekend. Do it now, because tomorrow is not promised to us. Don't move. Freedom March will be right back after this break.
Fill up box for all $30.
The new KFC Fill-Up Box, serving 6 juicy pieces of chicken, 4 buttery biscuits, crispy fries to share, and 12 premium original recipe KFC nuggets, all packed into one crave-worthy box. So dig in and do whatever the crunch you want with the KFC Fill-Up Box. Only at KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Every single person matters. Every single dream is worthy of support. Every single challenge must be confronted. There is no space for sitting small. There is no space for fear. But there is room enough for those who are brave enough to refuse the path of the least resistance, and with brave hearts cut a path for those who are counting on us.
This is Freedom March. Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm Levan Miller. And again, Bradley Rowell, the spiritual advisor, extraordinary and plenipotentiary, is with me. And if Bradley Rowell is with me, that means we have Holy Scripture. Bradley?
Indeed, Levan, I must say, the reason why I'm smiling is because what's the word I'm looking for? The admonition that you gave, telling, especially young people.
Yes.
And producer, you can prepare that passage for me. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 9, I think. You know, it is biblical. The writer, the wisest man that ever give, says to the young people, man, you who are young, be happy while you're young. And let your heart give you joy in the days of youth.
Yeah.
Follow the ways of your heart, and whatever you see, follow it. But know that for all these things, God will bring you into judgment. And that's reality, because when you're young, when I was young, you didn't think about judgment, you know.
No.
All you thought about was, man, just tearing it up.
All we have is
Having
now.
fun. Yeah, man. Back in the 80s, man, there's some good high school friends of mine, man. We used to go to Club Pastiche. We used to go to Cinnamons. We used to go to Backside. We used to go to Bayside. Man, and we had some fun in our youthful days. And because we're young, we enjoyed it. Let your heart give you joy in the days of your youth. Follow the ways of your heart and whatever your eyes see.
Yeah.
It's amazing, eh?
Yeah.
But know this, that for all these things, God will bring you into
So
judgment.
do all the things you feel like.
Yeah, because it's a choice.
But
you
as
see?
soon as you finish,
you gotta come see.
you come see me.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Wow.
And it happens.
But I tell them, but I've given them good advice at the end, Bradley. I said likewise. Whatever you do, don't add to this population, don't take away from this population. I feel like the scripture is exactly that. I said the exact thing the scripture said.
Yeah.
Whatever you do in all of your frolic, right? Because the last thing I want you to live with is regret. I don't want you to sit here and wonder, well, what if I had, right? I don't want you to live with
what
that.
if I hadn't?
Yeah, I don't want you to live with that regret. So just go ahead and do it. But in all of your doing, and this is my admonition every week, I do not want you recklessly adding to the population. Similarly, I do not want you recklessly taking away from the population. Because if you do that, then you're okay with us here over at Freedom March, right?
Indeed.
You got more scripture for us?
Yeah. Producer, let's go back to the actions of the apostles. Let's see how powerful the apostle Paul was.
Right.
We can look at a miracle that has been accredited to him by the author here, Luke, who wrote the book of Acts. As a matter of fact, the author of the book of Acts is the same author of the book of Luke. So here in Acts 14, 8-12, it says, in Lystra, there sat a man who was lame. He had been that way from birth and had never walked. He listened to Paul as he was speaking. Paul looked directly at him, saw that he had faith to be healed, and called out, stand up on your feet. At that, the man jumped up and began to walk. Go ahead, producer. When the crowd saw that what Paul had done, they shouted in the Laconian language, the gods have come down to us in human form. Barnabas they called Zeus, and Paul they called Hermes because he was the chief speaker. Interesting passage, Acts chapter 14, verses 8-12.
Is there verse 13?
Yeah.
Is there verse 13? Take us 13 to 15, producer. Let me see. That's Acts chapter 14.
Acts chapter 14, yeah.
Yeah, verse 13. Because I want to see what does the lame man do.
Oh, if there's anything he did, eh?
Yeah.
But what is interesting...
Because after you've had manifestation without expectation, you have to make sure that you look out for the spirit of hesitation. So I want to see what the lame man do. Let's go back to the scripture, producer. What does it say?
Acts 14, you want verses what?
What would that be? 13 to 15?
Yeah.
You stop at 12.
I
so
stop
let's
at
do
12.
13
yeah.
to 15.
Yeah.
This is
I
what
was just
tell-
focusing on the actual
of
miracle.
action. I
Yeah,
want to see
yeah.
what did the lame man do.
What did he do?
Yeah, because because you know this is what I tell the lonely woman them. You know the lonely woman brigade who like to read Jeremiah 29:11.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to tell them, don't just read the verse you like. Go read the rest of the text. And so I want to see. Okay, go ahead, Spirit.
The priest of Zeus, whose temple was just outside the city, brought bulls and wreaths to the city gates because he and the crowd wanted to offer sacrifice to them. But when the apostles Barnabas and Paul heard this, they tore their clothes and rushed out into the crowd, shouting, "Friends, why are you doing this? We too are only human like you." Here's that humility. We are bringing you good news, telling you to turn from these worthless things to the living God, who has made the heavens and the earth and the sea and everything in them. So apparently we don't see.
They don't reference the
No,
lame man any
after
further.
he jumped up and began to walk,
But that must mean that the lame man left.
more than likely.
Yeah, he was obviously no longer in the passage.
But what is interesting about reading all of this is that it shows you that after what the Apostle Paul and those did, this miracle was indeed very miraculous. And they thought that this was extraordinary because these can't be ordinary men doing this stuff. But Paul, you know, I guess in his humility, understanding what Jesus Christ had done for him, he said, "Man, listen, we're just human just like you." But you wouldn't interpret that because these men were doing some very powerful things. When this man who had been that way from birth jump up and began to walk, you'd be like, what is this? What's going on?
And Paul say, man, that's only a little miracle.
Yeah, it's like I'm thinking he's probably saying, man, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Because as you continue to read the book of Acts, you'll see that Paul did so many other things during his missionary journey that were miraculous.
And very rarely do you ever hear anybody associate humility with Paul. Paul was many things in the Bible. He wasn't humiliative.
Yeah, I think that there was a portion of scripture that does talk about how, you know, he was humble by a thorn in the flesh that he had.
No, and that was Paul saying that about Paul.
Yeah.
Paul said about Paul, lest I exalt myself above the gods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Behold, thou hast given me a thorn in the flesh,
Yeah.
a messenger from Satan to
Yeah,
buffet me.
yeah, definitely. To keep you humble, man.
To keep me from exalting my, not to keep me humble, but to make sure I don't become arrogant. Because mind you, the opposite of arrogance ain't necessarily humble,
Okay.
right? Because you know, I keep telling
But
the
it
people,
could be.
I tell people all the time, do you know the difference between arrogance and confidence? Ability. You want me to walk
But
you through
what
this?
is an arrogant person?
I can walk you through it.
Okay, go ahead.
The difference between arrogance and confidence is ability. If I say to you, I'm going to walk over there and I'm going to slap you in your face, that might be arrogant. To assume that you are
You
going
think
to
so?
sit there and let me slap you in your face. Where did I get the gall from to suggest such a thing? You agree?
I believe that's an act of boldness. You're very
That is
bold.
arrogance. That is arrogance. Arrogance is, you want me to come over there and slap
What
you
does
in your face?
ChatGPT say
Arrogance. Let's look at
is?
arrogance. ChatGPT. Let's go.
What does it mean to be arrogant?
No, this is telling me about Paul. What is the meaning of arrogance? There you have it.
One who has a lot of confidence. One
It's
who's
the attitude
bold.
of having exaggerated sense of one's own importance, abilities, or worth, often paired with a lack of humility. So it's often paired with a lack of
Right,
humility. But the
right.
opposite of arrogance is
So-
humility.
It
because-
means-
because-
arrogance means that you lack humility.
No, arrogance
That's what
means
they're saying,
that
right?
you have an exaggerated sense of your ability. So if I say to you, I'm going to come over there and slap you in your face, that is arrogance because I am operating on the premise that when I walk over there, there is nothing you could do to stop me from slapping you. You follow me?
Well, yeah. Well, you're being
Now-
very assuming.
Yeah, right. So if I could walk over there, and despite your best efforts, you can't stop me from slapping you, is that arrogance or is that confidence?
Well, it's confidence.
Right, and the only difference between arrogance and confidence is the ability. And the reason we have so much arrogant people walking around is because all these people who believe so much about themselves, they have no ability.
But arrogance tends to go into a different direction as far as ability is concerned. It's just something about you.
The arrogance is having an exaggerated sense of one's importance or abilities.
Okay.
Right, so a lot of times you hear people puffing themselves up, right? And the truth of the matter is, they ain't as good as they think. They cannot do what it is they
Right.
think they can do.
So all of this is just being arrogant.
That's arrogance.
They don't have the ability to.
The difference between arrogance and confidence is ability.
Right, okay.
So at whatever point you are able, for instance, you're in landscaping, right? Let's just say I wanted to have a 2-inch band width straight around my roundabout, right? And I say, boy, Bradley, everybody that I've ever get to do this couldn't do it because they say the edge of the roundabout have jagged edge rocks, and so
Yeah.
in
So
some
can we-
places it go a little more than
Yeah,
2 inch.
yeah.
But I want a straight 2-inch band around, and you come and say, that's all you want?
The small things.
And I can do
man.
that with my eye closed.
Yeah, small things.
That's arrogance. When you go there and deliver a 2-inch band straight around from end of circle to end
Yeah,
of
then
circle,
that's the ability to do it.
you have the ability. You're no longer arrogant. If all you are doing is stating the exact thing you have the capacity for, then that's not arrogance.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are some people that could have assumed that Paul was an arrogant person, right? I always like when he write letters to Timothy, my beloved, and always these are letters of instructions, always letters like as if Timothy had nothing to do except for wait on Paul. You follow what I'm saying?
Okay.
But the one thing Paul always tried to lean back into was what qualified him to be able to do what it is he
yeah,
did.
absolutely.
And
And he
so-
was humble too, and expressing, all the things he went through. I think in the book of 1 Corinthians, he talked about his shipwreck, the lashes.
Yeah, when he
and-
going in the Isle of Patmos
yeah, and
running
all that
around.
kind of stuff. You talk
Yeah.
about that and how it was.
And how these things have
Humbling experience
qualified
for him.
me to be able to preach to you all.
Yeah.
So I'm saying to you, so Paul's journey, I don't know if it was one of humility, Bradley. I think Paul was a confident man because of what he had experienced. And the confidence, when read in scripture, because ChatGPT is saying, let me tell you what ChatGPT said about Paul.
I don't
said-
think Paul, if you look at his life and his message, I don't know if you can say that he was an arrogant
But
person.
ChatGPT says that Paul's tone can definitely come across as bold and even confrontational. He often defends his authority with very strong language, especially when challenged by other leaders of communities. But was it arrogance or was it conviction? It goes on to say Paul's confidence, rather, he claimed to be not inferior to the most eminent apostles. In Corinthians 11:5, and said, imitate me as I imitate Christ. That's not shy, but he saw his authority as divinely given and not self-made. So what ChatGPT is dissecting for us is that the same thing I'm saying to you, that depending on who reads it, you could read his behavior as arrogant, but based on what he had already gone through,
But I mean,
his confidence level was higher than most people's.
but I would agree with you that if you look at Paul's life in the Jewish law or Judaism, now I'm definitely sure that you can use the word arrogance for him because he went to the point where he started to flog people. He was trying to get people locked up and go into prison.
But why?
You know?
Because they wasn't conforming.
Right.
Right.
And then when you look at his conversion and him being struck down on his way to Damascus.
This is when
something
he was
changed.
Saul.
Yeah.
So
something
as Saul, he
changed.
was a persecutor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And a bit arrogant. But for some strange reason, after his conversion to Christianity, his whole life changed.
So ChatGPT goes on to say there is a tension between Paul's boldness and his humility. Paul's letters reflect a man wrestling with his mission, his flaws, and the weight of responsibility. His tone shifts depending on the audience, and it is sometimes tender, but sometimes fiery. So whether it reads as arrogance or not depends on how you interpret his motives. Was he self-promoting or just fiercely protective of the gospel he believed was entrusted to him? And so, again, I don't know if we could ever refer to Paul as humble.
I think we could. Listen. The Apostle Paul says, Christ Jesus came into the world to save sinners. And he says, I am the chief among them.
Yeah,
So he places himself in a very humble position.
sure.
And that he's getting people to understand, listen, we all know that everyone has sin. But he said, I'm going to put myself in a position where I'm the worst of all sinners. So obviously, that is some form of humility because he recognized that his previous life and then coming to Christianity, he was blessed to have forgiveness from God. He says, Christ Jesus came into the world to save sinners. He included himself by saying, listen, I am the worst of them.
Yeah.
But so I
Was it Paul
after
that referred
converted,
to himself as an old wretched man? Is it Paul as well?
I'll have to look and see. But I can tell you after being converted to Christianity, Paul's attitude changed completely.
Wow.
Completely. He recognized the true faith of Christianity and what it meant to be a servant and a slave of Jesus Christ. And that's what it is, you know? It is
Yeah.
what it is.
And he also talked about submitting his own body to subjection.
Yeah.
That's after I preached to you.
Yeah, he become a reject. You see what I'm saying? So all that shows his humility and wanting to serve and be a servant of
But
Jesus
wouldn't you
Christ.
consider it slightly arrogant that he had the power to hold himself into subjection, but he always tried to account for the actions of all of the other members of the church that he was starting? Remember, Paul was the one that would write the letters and tell them how to behave.
Yeah.
But Paul never leaned on anyone's understanding for how he should behave. He accredited that to his connection with God, and that God somehow was keeping him in line.
Yeah, directly.
But then he needed to keep everybody else in line. Remember, it was him who set up the rules for how you appoint this one in the church and what the elders should be doing and what Timothy should preach and how Timothy should preach it, etc., etc., etc. No one ever gave Paul any such instructions.
Yeah. Paul would tell you that as far as his instructions and apostleship is concerned,
Yeah, they come from Jesus.
yeah, he didn't get it from any man,
No.
nor he received it from any man.
Right, they get that from Jesus. Jesus
I
said that to me
received this by
directly.
direct revelation
Yeah.
from Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So he had to sort
So
some
don't ask
things
me no
out.
question.
Yeah, he had to sort some things out
Yeah.
because there were some folks who was questioning his authority and how he got to the position that he was at.
Yeah,
he
so
said, "Listen,
ChatGPT ends by saying the difference between confidence and arrogance. It's confidence. Confidence is something that is grounded and respectful, while arrogance tends to alienate, and confidence tends to inspire. And that's what I'm saying. So at any point I tell you I'm going to do something, right? And I am fully capable of doing the thing that I tell you I'm going. There's nothing arrogant about that, right?
all right.
It's like people that try to downplay being good. Why? There's nothing arrogant about being good. If you good, my brother, you good, and there's nothing you could do about that.
Yeah.
But people try to say, "Oh, he's so arrogant." Is he arrogant, or are you the one with the flaw?
Let me ask you a question. Michael Jordan, by far, has been one of the best basketball players
In the history
ever.
of mankind,
Is he humble or is he arrogant?
he's confident. He is confident.
He's not arrogant.
No, he can be arrogant.
I've seen it, though.
Yeah? If you put a basketball in his hand, there's nothing that he tells you he's going to do with that basketball that he cannot do.
Okay.
That's confidence.
Yeah.
Anyway, and you don't move because Freedom March is coming right back after this break.
This is Freedom March.
This is Freedom March. Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you for staying with us through the break. I'm Leland Miller. Bradley Roll is here with me. And today, Bradley, I want to talk a little bit about the tropical storm that just passed. I see that there's bad weather expected again for this weekend.
Yeah.
What that would mean to me is that the water table is already saturated.
And there's some more rain coming.
What that also means to me is, based on the utterances of the President of the United States of America, I don't anticipate that the U.S. will send us any aid with any real sense of urgency, because the federal government, or the head of the federal government, sees no real threat from things like global warming. Albeit those of us that live in close coastal low-lying communities can attest that a lot of our neighborhoods are taking in more water than necessary, right? Or usual. Now, unlike Pinewood Gardens, I live in South Beach. I am telling you that my flooding issue through my corner is a man-made one, right? I note that the Minister of Social Service, Myles LaRota, Member of Parliament for Pinewood Gardens, is in the news talking about some things about what they're going to do with flooding. I'm going to get to that. But I want us to listen to the President of the United States of America, because this is very, 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 very serious. And here's why. Who is the closest person to us to send us aid in times of natural disaster? America.
Right.
And if there is a man in charge of the federal government who says that he thinks global warming is a farce, right, then how much of our flooding woes would America actually be interested in helping with, should we continue to see rising tides that subsequently lead to burying our communities in water, right? So let's go to the clip from the President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, and let's see what his thoughts are surrounding global warming, which is the utterances he made last week at the UN.
Yeah.
We have it? Okay.
If you give him 2 seconds.
Yeah. So we have the clip. We're going to go to the clip right now. And like I said, you know, we have to, in government, always factor in what will the contingency plan be. Why? Because at all levels, you have to have a contingency plan. Government has to have a contingency plan. Individuals have to have a contingency plan. And I don't know if Minister LaRota is thinking about the situation broadly enough with regards to how will we remediate. Because we appear to be incapable of mitigating, right? So in the absence of proper mitigation, we need to now figure out what we will do about remediation. All right? All right,
Okay.
Let's see if we can go to the clip from the President.
Well, United States President Donald Trump uttering strong words to world leaders as heads of the countries worldwide gathered for the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly themed Better Together, 80 Years and More for Peace, Development, and Human Rights. During his remarks, U.S. President Donald Trump ripped apart scientific evidence that climate change is happening and made this strong plea to leaders.
Years ago in the 1920s and the 1930s, they said, global cooling will kill the world. We have to do something. Then they said global warming will kill the world. But then it started getting cooler, so now they could just call it climate change, because that way they can't miss. It's climate change. Because if it goes higher or lower, whatever the hell happens, there's climate change. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. Climate change, no matter what happens, you're involved in that. No more global warming, no more global cooling. All of these predictions made by the United Nations and many others, often for bad reasons, were wrong. They were made by stupid people that have cost their countries fortunes and given those same countries no chance for success. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail. And I'm really good at predicting things, you know.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Philip Davis, during his address to the UN Climate Summit, took a direct hit at those claims, emphasizing that climate change is indeed no con job, despite Trump's claims that it is. Davis reaffirming his belief in climate change, noting that the burden it has on the Bahamas as the country prepares for the upcoming general election. Addressing climate change was a commitment outlined in the PLP's Blueprint for Change.
The frequency and intensity of hurricanes is real. It's no hoax. It's not a con job. The 1.5 degree Paris temperature goal is on life support, and our actions ahead of COP30 and beyond will give it the opportunity to either survive or we accept that we have come to the end of a singular call for the hope of humanity. Despite limited finances, we in the Bahamas have taken the approach to be solution-oriented in the fight against climate change. In our pre-2030 NDCs, the Bahamas established a goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 30% by 2030. This goal is being driven by increasing the provision of renewable energy sources by 30%.
And so, Bradley, you see that America has obviously elected a president who doesn't believe that rising tides are a thing.
He doesn't.
Now, bear with me. I do not completely disagree with Donald Trump. Is climate change a farce? I am ambivalent about it, and I will tell you why, or the nature of my ambivalence. I am old enough to remember when they told me that plastics would save the planet. Do you remember that? You remember all the Smokey the Bear commercials about how the forest was going missing and how one truckload of brown paper bag was equivalent to 6 truckloads of plastic, and how plastic was supposed to have been the savior of the planet. Remember that?
Okay. Yeah.
25 years later, the Free National Movement bans the use of all plastic in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and makes them banned substances, right? I go right to America, 54 miles or 59 miles away, and the woman in Walmart will give me a plastic bag for every single individual item I buy. You following me?
Okay.
So, are we appearing to be doing what is right? Is the science suggesting that what it is we are doing is having any meaningful impact? Or is the world just heating up and there's nothing we can do about it? And the reason I don't disagree with Donald Trump entirely, or the reason I would like to simply claim ambivalence on the issue of global warming is, I think Donald Trump was also right about the COVID-19 vaccine and virus. The COVID-19 virus killed the world over 0.00087% of the world's population. More people die annually in car accidents. But we haven't banned vehicles. More people die annually, get this, in work-related trauma accidents. But we haven't banned people from going to work. Yet, during the period of, 2020, 2021, the scientists of the world orchestrated a global shutdown for an invisible thing. And, if you recall, the election was November of 2020, was it? The presidential elections.
2020.
Okay.
Yeah, 2020.
And if you remember, right after the election, both Pfizer and AstraZeneca both came out with approved drugs almost immediately after the election. It would be fair to suggest that it was a hoodwink and that they could have gotten because you remember Donald Trump said all along that campaign trail that he's advised that the major drug companies were very close to having an approved vaccine. Remember that?
Okay.
Yet somehow they don't get it approved until the week after he's kicked out of office, right? And again, I'm not saying that Donald is right, or President Trump rather is right with regards to global warming. I'm just saying, I think the people of this region are a bit labored with the ideas or the theories that have been offered by the scientists from this region. You with me? Because brown paper bags had to stop in order for the planet to not overheat. Remember that?
Okay, yeah, okay.
And so we've allowed the trees to grow. We were using plastic. Then all of a sudden, someone starts screaming bloody murder because the plastic killing sea turtles, etc., etc.
Which is true.
So the question is, which is it?
Poisoning the fishes, yeah.
Which is it? And so I hear President Trump, and that is in my mind and not lost on me. But I also hear people like Minister Miles LaRota talking about their plans to, well, remediate hurricane disaster victims, I guess, or tropical storm disaster victims. And I don't think we're approaching it holistically enough. I've said before on this show, I will say again now, Minister Miles LaRota, his name is Brenton Boo Roll. I think that the government of the Bahamas would do well to get themselves somebody that does more than blow drains. Because drains haven't helped us up to this point. Are you with me? Our problem requires some machinery.
Okay.
And
Like
we've
what?
proven it, like pumps.
Okay.
Like a designated sewer system. Like channeled gullies, like the ones they have in Jamaica. You ever been to Jamaica?
Yeah, twice.
If you go to Jamaica, particularly in Halfway Tree, Kingston area, you ever see those big cement gullies? That
Yeah.
And what do you see happening?
Yeah.
The water rises from wherever
yeah.
water rises to, and they direct water to where it needs to go.
Yeah.
We have to look at the design. Yeah? Now, whether it will cost $10 million, I don't know. But I'm saying to you, if all we are doing is scaling a plan that will use natural gravity flows, we are setting ourselves up to simply be sitting ducks. And I agree with him that the trucks can't work because we obviously don't have enough truck capacity on the island, right? And if you pump the water, where will you pump it to? I get it. Water displacement is sometimes all that is necessary. So you take it from one wet area and you pump it into a dry area. But it's time. But the time that a truck needs to get from my corner to wherever the dump drain is, we are losing time. Versus if we built a system where I could just simply click on a pump that pumps the water to the system, and that system is piped to some sort of, I don't know, reused water plant. You understand what I'm saying to you? Some sewer system, treatment plant, some whatever it is. You would have a consistent 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 24-hour pumping rather than one truck with 600 gallons go and come back, two trucks for 600 gallons go and come back, etc., etc., etc. So let's go to the clip from Minister Miles LaRota, who was talking about what the government did as a response to the immediate action for or after the tropical storm. And stay with me. My Church of God flaring up, so I bill in my text. We go in somewhere. All right, let's go to the clip.
We understood at the time that that was only the Band-Aid. That was providing temporary relief. What was really needed after some 40 years was a permanent solution. And what we saw during Tropical Storm Imelda was something simple that the public didn't realize. It's one thing if you could get 10 trucks easily to come into Pinewood if that's the only affected area. But then Pinewood was had competition with Nassau Village that flooded, Seabreeze flooded, South Beach flooded, out west areas that don't traditionally flood. So I was competing with different communities. So I think on the most trucks we had in Pinewood was like 3.5, because at one point we had like 4. So when I came back from the UN on Monday, up until yesterday, we were still pumping water out of Pinewood. Some cases of roofs collapsing. Those would have known the first set of homes in Pinewood, they had that concrete cast roof. So we have, some roof that has caved in. We've had some people where the flooding has been so bad that they had to move out. And so we have social services intervening to assisting with temporary shelter. It's a resilient community after going through this for 4 years, but it's one that, imagine those of you who have carpet in your homes or apartments. There are some areas that Pinewood residents don't have that luxury because of the constant flooding.
Are you able to? And so, I hear the minister, right? He said that at any given time, Pinewood Gardens would have 3.5 trucks in Pinewood Gardens. I imagine that means 3 pumping and 1 en route at all times, right? And then the flooding has subsided tremendously. but that effort isn't consistent enough. So you need something with enough capacity to pump enough water for a prolonged enough period of time to a place that will capture the water and either refine it, refresh it, or whatever, store it, so that we could get the water relief we need. And you would have to simply put it on a float switch so that it doesn't even need to be man-powered, right? I saw the Minister of Works said that they had sent, I think he said 12 pumps out after the tropical storm. Well, the pumps don't make any sense if they're in storage, do they? Can we not figure out a way to fix those to the communities where we believe this flooding will happen, and then build them into a system to ensure that they provide the relief?
Okay.
That would be a far better idea. I see the Member of Parliament for Seabreeze says the same thing. We're sending pumps. Flooding is so instant that you cannot get on flooding when the flood starts. Does that make sense? You have to be ahead of the flood.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and so, again, his name is Brenton Burrow. Y'all could, get a plumber, because lawyers can't fix this, right? And well drillers can't fix this. And the one thing we know is a London trained lawyer is a London trained lawyer, but a good plumber know how to fix. Thank you.
I think this is beyond plumbers. You need
plumber could
you need
build-
engineers.
Listen to me, man. The whole Ministry of Works is engineers. They ain't stopped this thing from flooding yet. The whole of Ministry of Works is engineers.
Well, obviously they're not as smart as you are.
They ain't stopped this thing from flooding yet. Get yourself a decent plumber who will build a system that will either turn this water into reusable water and pump it into a machine-operated plant, who will guide this water. There are two challenges going on, and the challenge they have in Pinewood is not the one that we have in South Beach. The one we have in South Beach is Hubert Ingram create a pond when he fell in the mangrove that was Jasmine Gardens.
Little subdivision.
Yeah. And they ain't put no well between Jasmine Gardens and South Beach Drive. So Philip Davis, if you and Marcus Road get killed in Poland Division number 3, here's an easy fix. Build to, because here's the thing, I live South Beach Drive. Do you know that this end of South Beach Drive doesn't flood and that end don't flood?
Yeah.
Only the piece in the back of Jasmine Gardens floods. What does that tell you? That Jasmine Gardens is the problem.
So what do you suggest?
My suggestion is build some gully to run that water back toward Jasmine Gardens. Because here's what's funny. Jasmine Gardens don't flood. They can't flood. You all build them 2 feet above South Beach.
So if you displace the water, where's it going to go?
So you displace the water back to its natural place that it would run, and then you put deep wells there so that the water could come out of South Beach Drive, back to where it would naturally go, and go into deep wells. You may be able to fix that problem with a deep well. But the one in Pinewood Gardens, you have to just build a system of pumps, gullies, and some sort of, reuse water station.
All right.
And all I'm saying is that what I heard the minister saying just simply doesn't sound like it is enough in my view. And we have to figure that out. So don't tell me anything about engineers, because as far as I can say, they can lock the door on this Ministry of Works up here. It ain't look like none of them engineers out there know how to get it fixed. Yeah, just close the door, put chain around it.
That's a bit arrogant. Now I think you're being arrogant.
How am I being arrogant?
Because here it is.
The minister said this is a 40-year problem.
We have a government that actually has a whole Ministry of Works with a lot of men who've been off to school, qualified themselves, and now has come to advise the government.
Clip,
right?
Just play the first part of the clip.
And they don't know, but you
Just
know.
play the first part of the clip.
Wow.
You have it? Yeah. Miles road up.
We understood at the time that that was only the Band-Aid, that was providing temporary relief. What was really needed after some 40 years was a permanent.
How long the problem persisted?
He says 40 years.
So you trying to tell me for 40, they sound like the children of Israel. For 40 years, we just circling around in the wilderness? It sounds like they waiting on Joshua.
Well, that's you. So
No. It's Brenton Burrow. I told you who to call.
It's time to stop. Stop it now.
Yeah. And regrettably, we wasted the children of Israel, because the Bible says what about them? They walk around for 40 years and the sole of their shoe didn't do
There
what?
ain't nothing wrong with the clothes nor the shoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I telling you, my brother, We have this problem for 40 years, and every single time they have it, the people need new furniture. So obviously the sole of their shoes wearing out.
Let me ask you a question. Rising sea or water levels is accredited to what?
According to y'all, global warming.
It is a possibility. Producer, I sent you 3 photos, right? Now, these photos of this flooding is in the Marshall Road Southwest area.
Sure. Let's see
Now,
that.
here's what is interesting. I moved into this area 33 years ago. This stuff never happened.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, there's a portion of Marshall Road where the government has actually built a little small seawall. And guess what? 33 years ago, water never came beyond a certain point. As a matter of fact, you could have walked out for almost half a mile during low tide without any issues. 33 years later, the water is coming into the streets.
Agreed. Now, let's look at your picture. Are these standing water or flowing water?
Let me tell you, you know what I should have done? I should have taken a photo of this street of water cross to the sea. And you'll see that the water is actually coming from the sea into this area.
Right, but this water here, is it standing water or flowing water?
Standing.
Okay, you know what that means? You could pump it.
Mind you, trucks are there. Trucks are there.
It makes no sense to pump flowing water.
But trucks are there pumping, but when high tide comes, the water comes in from the sea.
Well, there's nothing you could do about high tide.
And comes straight
All
in.
you could do is displace the water whenever it comes.
But the suggestion was made years ago for the government to reconstruct the seawall along this location, which is Marshall Road, south and then west. The government neglected to do that, and I believe this is one of the reasons why we're having this same problem. I believe had the seawall been built, they wouldn't have this problem.
You might also have a problem like the one that they created on South Beach Drive. And if I'm mistaken, I think Porky Dorset them did the road work, if I'm not mistaken. If it wasn't them, then I retract that statement. But my recollection, because I've lived there for 30 years, was that that was the company that did the paving on the South Beach Drive, where I live, right? Here is the problem we have. The road is a valley. So my neighbors that live east and west of me, they don't flood. Because somehow those two ends of the corner are higher than the middle of the corner. Which, coupled with the fact that they built Jasmine Gardens as a berm almost. You know what is a berm?
No, go ahead.
A berm is like a wall of rubble. So you put them on like gun ranges and stuff. What it means is things can't penetrate it.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So they build Jasmine Gardens like a berm on my northern border, and then they sit my house between a valley on the eastern and western side. So, and here, can I tell you where the drain is? The drain is we have a drain on the western end of the corner that the water can't get to because the road make a C in the middle.
Not like this.
Right. And I live in the valley. It's a simple matter.
You're in trouble.
You tell me go call the engineer them. I tell you, Miles say they had the problem for 40 years. They got 1,000 engineers in this building right there. The building right there. As far as I'm concerned, they could take zip strap and seal the door shut. Because obviously none of them engineers in there know nothing but water.
Oh man.
I've already told them who to call. Call Brenton Road. If you need water fixed, Brenton Road can fix it.
Oh, this is deep.
All right? It's a simple. How did they fix the water?
All those engineers sitting
How did they fix the flooding by CV Battle? Did they wave a magic wand and say the magic words? No. The member of parliament.
Is Barker's an engineer?
I don't know what Barker's is. I know he in the Ministry of Works.
So now it means that the engineers may have told him exactly what needs to be done to correct that problem.
I don't know. Or maybe
he's in the Ministry of Works. He's in the Ministry of Works.
Maybe it was premonition. Barker's, tell us where you get this. Maybe it was premonition. I don't know.
I think he got the help from some engineer because he would have taken that problem. Listen, I have a problem in my constituency, right? Water is settling, dust and so displacing this. What do you suggest is the best way to deal with this? He's in the Ministry of Works, he can get it done.
Can I ask you another question? Then why did no other member of parliament fix it? Because Fenton Nemo was in the Ministry of Works as well. I'm just asking these questions.
You know, that's what it is.
Or they hired new engineers.
No, you have some member of parliament who really do consider it of their constituents, and their constituency.
And all
so
I'm telling my member of
Bach is the kind of
parliament now-
person who wants to make it better for South Beach.
Great, and I'm telling my member of parliament and his prime minister, when it comes to South Beach Drive, this is a one-shot deal. I live in polling division number 3. It is possibly one of the most populated polling divisions in my constituency. Here is how you make sure you don't lose these votes where I live. The road need to belly out so that the water could, one, get to the drains on the southern and east, the eastern and
Now,
western end.
okay.
And then you all need to build some gullyways with some deep drains going into Jasmine Gardens, because that is where the water naturally went before Hubert Ingram built Jasmine Gardens.
So now, we now need to test your theory with a qualified engineer.
Oh boy.
Yeah, because you're not an engineer.
I'm not.
Right.
So is it okay for me to claim my ignorance here now?
No.
I would like to.
You might be onto something.
No.
I'm not an engineer.
I want to
right?
say that I am ignorant on the matter of water flow. Y'all go get the coastal engineer boy who's tell you all kinds of things. Let me tell you my difficulty, Bradley. I have a problem with anyone who they tell me is a specialist, and the only thing the specialist could come to do is verify the problem. If all the
But they must be able to
specialists,
solve it.
this is my point. We got one bunch of specialists around here. The only specialty they have is agreeing with me that I have a
Yeah,
problem.
verifying the theory of the problem. But now to solve it.
They can't tell you when grit's done.
Oh, gee.
They can't tell you when a spoonful of grit's done. All they can do is come here to tell you, boy, you know what, you're right, you have a problem. I don't expect that from a technician. Hey, don't move. Freedom March, we'll be right back after this.
This is Freedom March.
Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm leaving Miller Bradley Road, spiritual advisor extraordinary and plenipotentiary, and I'm turning him into a de facto engineer. How does that sound?
Sounds good. But listen, let me just say this to the listening audience. When Levon is speaking, I'm trying to follow him.
Mm-hmm.
If I turn and look at him face to face, what you would have on your screen is two men staring into each other's faces.
Not lustfully, though.
No. So what I'm doing, I am looking at the screen. I gotta admit that to you, that while Levon is talking, I'm looking at the screen. But while looking at the screen, I'm trying to analyze his conversation to see how best I can follow it.
This your good ass?
Now I'm not an engineer.
Right. But I'm making you
So a lot of this stuff I would have to go and research.
Sure.
And folks, you gotta recognize that no one holds the monopoly on any subject matter. There are just so many things in this life that I am just ignorant of, but I can go and get the information.
Yeah, because we live in a world full of information.
So I could become informed.
Sure.
So following Levon his conversation, I may be ignorant as to the subject. It's not a bad thing.
No.
Please.
To stay in ignorance is a bad thing.
Just give me a break, people. For Christ's sake.
For whose sake? For whose sake?
Give me a break.
For whose sake?
Let me just say this to you. Most of you just love to fly into Miami with the hopes of going into Opa-locka, Hialeah. Opa-locka, Hialeah flea market is the, right? When you get on the plane, you look in the cockpit, right? Could you get behind that thing that pulls the plane into the air and fly that plane? No. You're ignorant of it.
Yeah.
You stare the pilot in his face, and you say to yourself, boy, listen, I hope you make this plane land in Miami. People, give me a break, man. For Christ's sake.
For whose sake?
For Christ's sake.
Oh, boy.
Terry Thomas, give me a break.
Oh, boy.
I beg you.
I beg. All right, let's go to the next clip from Miles.
God, mercy.
And the reason why I'm getting to that, you played you played the one where they talked about, but Jesus, I must have known. Anyway, so Miles is talking about damages that are now being faced, people with the crumbling roofs, etc., right? And here is what now comes to my mind: the exorbitant cost of rent in the Bahamas. There's a clip somewhere in there, go up producer, talking about the price of renting, the exorbitant cost of rent in the Bahamas, right? And many landlords will tell you that they have increased their rent, one, because the Airbnb market has the place saturated, and so there aren't many places to rent. Two, the government is very serious about recouping its real property tax,
Yes,
and as a consequence,
yeah.
that is an extra cost of doing business, and they've passed that, like every other business, passed that cost on to the consumer, right? You have it? Let's go to the clip.
Well, as rent continues to climb and the dream of home ownership slipping further out of reach for many Bahamians, the Ministry of Housing is pledging action tonight as the Bahamas Contractors Association is also weighing in on this housing crisis. Our Delano Roker has the details.
Across the country, rent prices are on the rise, leaving families and young professionals struggling to find affordable options. Minister of Housing Keith Bell says government is aware of the crisis and is preparing to act.
As it relates to rent, I've seen very recently a significant increase across the board of landlords going up on rents. And I've spoken to the Minister Alcides, who's responsible for rent and rent control. We're looking at some provisions. We're looking at an amendment to the legislation. And I anticipate that perhaps very soon that the minister will be bringing some provisions or some legislation to ensure that tenants are not disadvantaged, but at the same time, we protect the rights of landlords as well. Because it's a very significant investment, but we don't want where landlords just arbitrarily go up on rents, as we have seen happening very recently.
Some have called for a modern approach, vertical living through high-rise developments. But Minister Bell admits the concept may be ahead of its time for the Bahamas.
Well, we have explored it, and again, I guess I suspect that we would need to use the Bahamas Contractors Association as a springboard to really have town halls with persons. But Bahamians generally do not want high-rise buildings. They don't want to live in no high-rise. It does not necessarily fit into our landscape. We are a small island state. But again, given the fact that Nassau is just 21/7, 3/4 of the population live in the province, we're going to have to find some alternative solution, or going back to the island, get the population to move back to the family islands, develop the family islands more.
President of the Bahamas Contractors Association, Leonard Sands, disagrees, insisting the country needs to start building upward sooner rather than later.
I think that's the future. I think Bahamians need to appreciate that we're on a small island, 7 by 21, and while a lot of us have homes, not all of us will possibly be in a position to afford your house and land. I think the trend will be that more families will be more desirable living in city communities. Urban renewal will be high-rise or mid-rise buildings in communities we've known our entire lives.
Still, Sands says he welcomes the move toward legislation, noting it must go hand in hand with strategic development.
I think that's where legislation will start to have to look at. Okay, now that you have these mid-rise buildings with occupying more persons, and that's where they need to live, what Carmichael Village is doing is rent to own. So obviously there will be rent control. But if you take that outside the span, you have buildings that are renting, you need to look at, okay, you don't want someone to gouge a person because they are looking at this place as their home, and maybe they decide they don't want to ever own a home. But you can't start a rent being $700 a month, and then 5 years down the road, rent at $3,500 a month, and you force them out because it's hot, because it's under demand. So I think legislation will start to have to be considered how you control rent inside mid-rise residential housing.
As government looks to stabilize rent and make home ownership more accessible, the big question is, how ready are Bahamians to embrace a new way of living? Because
And so, as we begin to marry these things together, Bradley, I don't agree with Keith Bell. I think that if you shift the policy, the people will shift. That's kind of how policy works. I agree with the Contractors Association president that, you know, we are behind the ball actually on high rise. I think they call it re-urbanization. That's what I think they're calling it in more developed places, right? So we need to re-urbanize the communities and do high rise. And here is the data that supports it. Bahamians aren't having children. You needed houses with property because you were having 5 to 7 children 25 or 35 years ago. We aren't having 5 to 7 children anymore. As a matter of fact, the only thing Bahamians appear to be incapable of doing is having children these days, right? And I'm trying to say that as non-misogynistically as possible. But if there is no demand for the yard space and the kind of homes that we built in the past, right? Then high-rise buildings are naturally going to eventually become the thing, which as a natural consequence will mitigate some flooding. But all of us can't live in the high-rise. No. Some of us have to live on the bottom floor. Yeah. And if you're telling me that we have no real plan to mitigate or to remediate flooding, and you're telling me that you don't believe Donald Trump and that global warming isn't a farce, and you, up to now, haven't been able to come up with a plan in 40 years, and you, as a government, decide that you want to collect your government taxes, which, of course, makes the international communities do things like improve your credit rating, right? Then the question becomes, at what point will the government ensure that people that rent on the bottom floor, if what Janae is reporting is that home ownership is something that is slipping away, it means that there is an apparent decrease in home ownership. And when I asked ChatGPT what he thought, or it thought about home ownership, it said it wasn't necessarily on the decline, but it said, where are we with this? It says home ownership in the Bahamas is facing challenges. Even if not outrightly on the decline, rather it's becoming increasingly divided between luxury foreign investment and local affordability concerns, right? Which means the market no longer caters to the average working Bahamian. Well, that said, right? Because it goes on to say, home ownership isn't declining across the board, but the local Bahamians are increasingly squeezed out of the market. That means more Bahamians are renting. And if more Bahamians are renting, and the government's policy is driving rent up, then I trust the Minister of Social Service is going to come into the Parliament the next time they meet.
For an increase in this budget?
No, to have the government mandate that landlords have to take out content insurance. It's the only thing that makes because if you, Bradley, if you cannot mitigate, you must remediate. Are you with me on this?
Go ahead.
And since y'all ain't putting no pump in the communities because y'all don't want to spend $10 million, right? The government must now create a new policy that says that if you are a landlord and if your rent does exceed X amount of dollars, then that rent must be inclusive of content insurance. Because
in the event of flooding and
in the event of anything, because what is not fair, right, is let's just say the landlord loses shingles, loses a window, loses anything. The landlord can go to the insurance company.
Burns down.
No, let's not talk about a fire. Let's talk about natural disasters.
Okay.
The landlord can go and collect money for the building insurance because the mortgage lender more than likely mandates that the landlord keeps the building insured.
Yeah.
But you make me pay $1,500 a month for rent.
What about the contents?
When your building flood, right? You give me 1 month free rent. But the purpose of refunding or retribution is to make someone whole. You agree?
So 1 month free rent
may not cover my damage. Let's just say.
So we'll give you 2.
Are you not okay? Let's just say I like to wear Balenciaga slippers.
Oh, gee.
Right? Your building flood. I pay my rent. Your building flood. 10 of my Balenciaga slippers destroyed. Well, that's about how much Balenciaga cost, producer? I don't know. All right, so I got 10 $3,000 slippers in my house.
How much they cost?
Right? So I got $300,000 worth of slipper damage. You think you not giving me or not requiring me to pay my $1,200 rent for 2 months covers my damage? It doesn't.
Yeah, so you can't be made whole in that situation.
And the purpose of remediation is to, as best as possible, make people whole. So we've got to figure out a more synergist approach to collecting government revenue, protecting landlords, but simultaneously not leaving tenants in the wind. Because if the government's tax policy puts such a strain on the landlord that the landlord has no choice, because when the government sends you that $80,000 bill, where else you can get money from, Bradley, except for the tenant?
And then you may have to raise the rent.
You have no choice, right? Because now what you owe the government in taxes is probably 1/3 of what your mortgage is, right? So you in essence are paying 1.5 or 2 mortgages now, just to pay the government its taxes. Well, now you have to take the rent up. So when you take the rent up, what protection does the renter get in a situation that your prime minister is saying is an unavoidable one, but that one of his ministerial colleagues is saying we are not doing sufficient to mitigate?
No.
You with me?
Okay.
All right, that's all the talking I'm going to do for the day. We can open up the phone lines. Let's do some by day. And then, because I want Bahamians thinking about this, high-rise living will fix the flooding for everybody that lives on the high-rise. All us can't live up there. The disabled community can't live up there.
No.
Okay.
Well, unless they have elevators.
So some of us have to live on the ground floor. And if we continue to create policies that are so tax-heavy or tax collection centric, let me not say that because the government has been reducing taxes, right? But if our policies are tax collection centric, so much so that the supply side of the product has to go up in its cost, then the demand side, what benefit do they enjoy at all from all of this additional money? And it isn't, and somebody with a legal mind, I don't know, at whatever point your landlord returns money to you for property damage while you are renting, I am of the view legally, and I will claim my ignorance here, that your landlord has accepted fault. And technically, if your landlord have accepted fault, they should give you back all. No, because the landlord could say it was an act of God and claim a case of force majeure, yes?
Yeah.
But at any moment, the landlord decides, well, I flood your apartment. The water heater ain't bursting there. The toilet ain't overrun.
Right. It was
The roof ain't leak and full your
It's
apartment.
just a natural disaster.
This was a natural act of God.
Yeah.
The landlord has every legal footing in the world to claim force majeure.
Yeah, because you can't control.
God flood your building.
you
What
can't
you want me to
control
do with that? Matter of fact, depending on where the landlord live, God flood his own too. So why would I be giving you back rent? Except I am prepared to accept liability.
Yeah.
And at whatever point I accept liability, I have to accept liability for the whole. You agree?
Yep, absolutely.
Legal minds, you all help me with this argument. Let's do
Absolutely.
by this and let me see if I get some legal people on the
Absolutely.
line. But if the Prime Minister contends that it ain't nothing we could do to stop global warming, if his ministerial colleague says, hey, we ain't doing enough to mitigate, and if the trend in the Bahamas is that home ownership is on the decline, then the question is who is looking after the renter? Especially when we are taking rent prices to all-time high.
Here's the text. Mr. Miller, the landlord cannot insure tenants' property. That is a principle of insurance law. The onus is on the tenant to insure their property, and landlords should not be held accountable for natural disasters. Let me just make sure I'm reading that correctly. Yes, landlords cannot be held responsible for acts of God.
No one could be held responsible for an act of God.
Yeah.
Then this text writer is going far past my point. My point is, do we write it into a policy of some sort that if you have a building that is going to be rented, remember now, you start off, what did the minister say? The minister, was it the minister or was it the chairman who say, you can't have a building you rented me 5 years ago for $900, 5 years later it's $3,500. It's the same building. You can't even factor that in a cost of living adjustment assessment, right? Those landlords, they're the ones I want to talk about. Should they have a duty in law to ensure that they make the tenant the whole in instances of natural disaster? Since they ain't got no high-rise building, the Prime Minister say there's no way to get around this. His ministerial colleagues say the government ain't doing enough to mitigate. Then who protects the tenant who obviously, according to ChatGPT, is being priced out of the market? Let's ask people. You want to go to the birthdays voice?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do birthdays, and then we go 323-7775-698-0775. Because we have to think about these things, Bradley.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree.
We have a U.S. government that will not come to our aid, right? And so I soon suspect that insurance companies who have either parent companies in America will one day stop accepting claims for these kinds of things. Soon directly to what people say, right? So we got the federal government not supporting it, a prime minister who's saying there's nothing he could do about it, his ministerial colleague who says that we haven't done enough in 40 years to mitigate, a chairman of a contractors association who's saying that, hey, we could get to high rise at some point, but rent prices need to be able to be justifiable. Landlords that are taking rent prices to exorbitant levels to cover their tax requirements. What happens to the tenant? That's the question I have.
That's deep.
Let's go to birthdays.
All right, so we got a couple birthdays today. Jetta Burrows is celebrating a birthday. It's coming from his dad, George Burrows, and the rest of the family. So happy birthday to Jetta. Is it Jetta or Jita? Jita. I'm sorry, Jita Burrows. Happy birthday to you, coming from your dad, George Burrows, and the rest of the family. Sean McKinney. Happy birthday to Sean Herman McKinney, coming from his children, Xavier, Zandia, Abigail, your brothers Keno, Wendell, Marvin, and your sister, the Thera. So happy birthday to Sean McKinney. Katie Clark, happy birthday to Katie Clark from my husband Franklin, children Yusuf, and Kimberly, grandson Aiden, and family. So happy birthday to Katie Clark. Anwar Bethel, happy birthday wishes to Anwar Bethel, who will be celebrating on Saturday. Greetings coming from his mom, Daphne Hannah, daughter Makia, brother Christopher, and the staff of Seafire Steakhouse and all who loves you. Enjoy your special day, Anwar Bethel. Teresa Alcock. Teresa Alcock is celebrating birthday. Happy birthday to the gorgeous Miss Teresa Alcock. Love, greetings, and celebrations I extend to you today from your husband, Nado, your children, Angel, Barry, Dallas, Chelsea, and Grayson, your siblings, your aunt, uncles, cousins, from Larry and the pull-up crew, Tamika and your cross, Shauna. We love you. Have a beautiful and enjoy your birthday. 85 never looks so good on you. God bless. All right, happy birthday, Teresa Alcock. Lucy Lyon. Happy birthday to Lucy, Boss Lyon, a.k.a. Storm Smith, JP, from your daughters, your brothers, your sisters, and the R&B class of 1988 family. We hope you enjoy your special day.
This woman graduated in 1988?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay, she looks good for age.
Yeah.
What's her name? Why did you distract me? Yes, that's Lucy, Lucy Lyon. We hope you enjoy your special day. And another milestone, stay blessed. All right. Kendall Ingram. I want to send a birthday shout out to my dad. His name is Kendall Special K. Ingram. With love from your family and your friends. Anthony Hanna. Happy birthday to Anthony Hanna. Greetings coming from your mom, Chantal, your dad, Anthony, Grammys, Donna and Deli, sisters, brothers, and Auntie Maronette.
Yeah, just my little cousin.
And Papi Edward.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Anthony Hanna. Ashley. Sorry, forgive me. Ashala Roll. Happy birthday, Ashala Roll. May God keep and bless you. Love, Mother Ashwana Gordon, your dad, Lamont Roll, your school, Sunland Baptist Academy, your grade 3. Our GPA 4-point star. Both Nana Patrice Roll and family, Nana Mitchell Dawson and family. All right, so Ashala Roll. How do you pronounce that? Ashala Roll. Happy birthday to you. Obviously, she did well.
Yeah, she's smart.
Yeah, grade 3, GPA 4 point. Wow.
Yeah. All day is a smart children. That's everybody.
Yeah.
All right, 323-7775-698-0775. And I want thinking people. Like, I producer, can we screen the calls today?
He wouldn't know who's. I don't think he knows who's calling.
Ask them. Screen my calls. I want someone with a law degree to call me, please. And then I want someone that is a. You say you want an engineer.
Yeah, from the Ministry of Works. I
don't want the set for Ministry of Works. Give me one other set.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a PI. Hello, PIP. Oh, hello, VIP.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, it's just Mr. Miller.
Mr. Miller? You looking for Mr. Miller?
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. Mr. Miller say, boom, shaka, laka, laka, laka.
You sure that was her?
I sure was. Twice one is two.
Well, she may have been an engineer.
No.
Yeah, no, she may have had.
And when you drink water, it go down your wrong throat.
Oh,
you ever had water go down your wrong throat?
They say go down the wrong hole. I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I want every time you drink water for the next week, I want it to go down your wrong throat. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March. 323-777-698-0775. We have to fix this problem, Bradley. Because what I'm saying to you is people cannot just be left as a sitting duck. Governments are elected to fix hard problems. And I don't want no government nowhere to tell me nothing but the problem hard. I don't hire technicians, technical people, smart people to come tell me the severity of the issue. What is the... I used to work for a man. His name is Ed Fitzgerald Curlin, right? And you know, he always said something.
Yeah,
the typo. He always said something. He said, I could pay anyone who could fix the problem. I'm not having a money problem. I'm having a problem.
Right. So
fix the problem, I can pay you.
Yeah, no issue.
Yeah. Right. And he also used to say, I don't understand how people just have money and problem. Because if you have money for fixing problems.
Solving issues, solving
things. Fix the problem, I could get you money. And I think that is where we need to be in our thinking. Barkus Roll quite happily fixed the problem at CV Bethel. I'm telling them that is the identical problem on South Beach Drive. If they fix this, Brave Davis, I'll be PLP, and it'll be all the way. Don't move. Freedom March. We'll be right back. This is Freedom March.
Experience the difference with BTC's fixed services. Whether you're working from home or enjoying family time, BTC ensures you're always in touch with the people and moments that count. BTC isn't just a service, it's a lifestyle. Stay connected, stay inspired, and live your best life. BTC.
This is Freedom March.
Hello, thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm Leland Miller. You're listening to us on 103.5 The Beat FM, channel 224, that's on cable, channel 112, that's on Flow, and of course on ILTV Studios on Facebook. But wherever you're listening to us, thank you so much for listening and following us. And I'm not saying that for you if you're already here. If you're here, thank you for being here. Now go and tell your friends to leave the vapid nonsense that they listen to on their drive home and come over here, over to Freedom March, where often the goal is to inform, to educate. And if Bradley run me hot enough, sometimes that gets entertaining, eh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Want to go back to the phone lines?
Yeah.
Have you come up with a thought yet about how do we protect the renting population that is obviously increasing?
It's overdue for protection, you know?
Yeah.
To be honest.
Let's go to the phone line. Somebody with a legal mind, call me. Y'all lawyers, anyone of y'all can fix anything? Lawyers can't fix much things, eh? I can tell you, boy, when I was in another place, lawyers, I don't know.
But that's who we elect to run the country.
Plumbers, you need a decent plumber. A decent plumber could fix most things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a plumber is an engineer?
Yes. Well, anyone that does technical work is an engineer, eh?
Okay.
Yeah, let's see. What is an engineer? Let's ask ChatGPT, because I don't like to have my own opinion, because then they say things like, he's a PLP and stuff like that, right?
So engineer must be a person who has the ability to solve things.
Yes.
Oh, welcome to
Let's
Freedom
go to the
March. Welcome to Freedom March. Call you live.
Good afternoon, Mr. Miller, and good afternoon, Spiritual Advisor. It's your girl, Tanya, coming to you live from Shop Smart Department Store. Your miracle right here at number 122 Marquis Street, where we say we're here for you for whatever season of your life and for everyday living. Yes, we are continuing our Halloween tour here at Shop Smart, and today's feature is our inflatables. Yes, as you can see, from Chucky to the pumpkins to all of the ghouls and the gals, Shop Smart has got you covered with everything inflatable for your Halloween delight. All you need to do is come and visit us here at number 122 Marquis Street, where we say we're here for you for whatever season of your life and for everyday living. We've got from the arches that you can blow up for Halloween to the teddy bears. We have got even the Demogorgon and the inflatable. Shop Smart is here for you. We're open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for your shopping convenience. If you can't come in the store, you can shop with us online at shopsmart242.com. We have got everything you need for that Halloween party, from the plates to the napkins, to the cups, to the forks and the spoons. Yes, we've got them in disposable, or if you want a mug for the whole month of October, yes, Shop Smart has got you covered. We've got all of your placemats here, as well as your napkins and your cups, and of course all of the ghouls and gals hanging in the roof here at Shop Smart. We have got everything you need for PJ Masks. We have all of the items you need for your face painting. Just come on down, and like I always remind you, to shop early, to shop often, and to shop smart.
Thank you very much, Tanya. We got to get down there, Bradley.
Relax.
Tanya, me and Bradley got to come see you.
Yeah, definitely.
So Bradley, here's what ChatGPT says. The difference between an engineer and a technician. So maybe they don't need an engineer. Maybe that is the exact problem. Maybe the problem is the Ministry of Work is full of engineers.
But they need actually technicians.
They need some technicians.
Fellows who could
So let's see the difference. The difference is an engineer is somebody with a bachelor's degree or higher in an engineering skill. Their focus is on theory, design, and innovation. A technician is somebody that has a diploma, certificates, and maybe an associate's degree level of education. But they focus on practical skills, installation, and system implementation. Right? Then you have an engineer design systems, products, or processes, uses math and science and modeling tools, and solves complex abstract problems, or oversees a project and the teams. The technician installs, maintains, and troubleshoots. He uses hands-on tools and diagnostic equipment and solves specific technical problems. He supports an engineer and executes. We sound like we need a technician. Yeah, I think we may have just identified the problem with the Ministry of Works.
Need technicians.
In collaboration, engineers often create a blueprint, and technicians bring blueprints to life and ensure that they work in real world scenarios. Y'all fire every engineer we got.
No, that isn't what it is saying.
What is it?
They just need some technicians. That's all it is.
So that's the problem. All we have is engineer.
They have to mix it.
They got yin and no yang.
Yeah.
Let's go further. It says, the engineer designs the system, layout, calculates the energy output, and ensures the regulation compliance. That means the engineer can tell you what the law say. The technician installs the panels and tests the system to ensure optimum performance. We have too much engineers.
And no technicians.
And no. 32377. I just fixed the whole Ministry of Works problem.
You did.
Wow. You saw that?
Asking to pay you now.
Who's the minister? Clay. Do a little
Clay
something. Do a little something for me.
Yeah.
I just fixed Ministry of Works problem
Too much engineers.
in 3 minutes.
No technicians.
Oh boy. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March. Hey, caller.
Ivan.
Hey, Berenice.
Listen. Education is what you will have after you have forgotten your learning. All those theories, dissertation, theses, validation by God Almighty. The One Bahamas National Financial Freedom Development Plan was sabotaged.
My producer,
and the CLP administration will cause it to come true and through. Okay? Now you young, you 40 years old soldier.
Yeah.
And what is happening now?
Yeah.
The facilitators of the person who speaks for the FNM, he is the writer or the proposal for the blueprint. Okay? Now he said he owns the COI and also the UDP, Gregory Moss Party. We in the PLP now will fix this problem which was sabotaged. And our prime ministers, especially my model boss, former Prime Minister Hubert Alexander Ingham, was being advised by the women who gave him that authority to speak for the FNM.
Thank you very much, Berenice. You got that? Don't forget it. Write it down. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Afternoon, Mr. Miller.
Hi.
And good afternoon, spiritual advisor.
Hi.
Now, Mr. Miller.
Cut your radio down. Cut your radio down.
I can cut it down right now. I listen to you speak about the water problem, flooding problem. When Mr. Bacchus Roll came in, the first thing we had was a town meeting. The people came to the town meeting and told Mr. Roll they need that water to be fixed in the front of C.B. Behu.
Yeah.
And they had a problem with the water flowing in the front of Miles LaRoda office. Now, Mr. Roll, you know, he is the PS there. He did his endeavor best and told the Bahamian people, especially those who live inside South Beach, that he will have that problem done. Mr. Roll got all the engineering. He got his people in, and he fixed that water. We don't have no more water problem in the front of Stevie Behu's
But wasn't that exactly what I
That's the
said?
best thing Mr. Roll have ever done.
Wasn't that exactly what I
Yeah,
said?
we already talked about that earlier. You have something else?
Listen to me. Let me talk with my member.
You have something else you want to say?
Repeating exactly what I said.
Let me talk with my member of parliament, please.
But we already talked about that.
Hold on. Mr. Miller.
Yay.
Why you want to fire all the engineering? If the engineering would create fix the problem?
I say fire the engineer to go hire some technician.
No, man, they fixed the problem in the front of C.B. Bell School.
Okay, well, bring them same set back to come fix South Beach Drive.
Yeah, but
Because South Beach Drive have the
give them
same
a
problem.
chance. Give them a chance. That's how the resident give Bacchus Roll a chance. Give them a chance so that they can fix it.
How much chance? How much longer?
I only been living there for 33 years.
The hard-working member of parliament in the South.
This
What's your
is
step
the
now?
kind of woman.
All right, thank you. Let's take another one.
Oh, she is something else.
You see how she cuts us out?
She is something else.
Yeah, and exactly what we ain't sure.
I wonder if she married.
Oh,
Oops,
boy.
I'm sorry.
323-7775.
I didn't want to
I
go
want
there.
someone with a legal mind. Give us a call. What happened? Your lawyers? You think all the lawyers are ready to happy our way?
It's possibly, or they're still in court.
Which court? The judge ain't there. What the lawyer will be doing there?
There's some cases probably still going on.
Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Miller, Spiritual Advisor.
Yes, sir.
How are you guys doing this afternoon?
Good. How are you?
Doing well.
That's good. I called a couple of weeks ago, and I think I was very harsh on Mr. Miller. I'm calling back today because I really enjoyed the show, and the conclusion, I believe, is quite accurate. I think for the future of this country, we do need more technician specialists, installation specialists, and I'm very happy to hear about the accreditation of BTVI, because a lot of the problems that we'll have going forward, it's one thing to have a lot of people with the ideas, but we need the technical expertise to get it done and avoid having to bring in foreign labor, especially to get this done. So how do you think we can lead the charge to get more young people qualified, educated, and trained to not only be technicians for, some of the civil engineering problems, but really across the whole plethora of issues that we have in the country?
So, caller, if you ever ask me, like, if they made me Prime Minister for 1 year, I wouldn't spend another $1 on the BTVI compound here in Nassau. I would transplant BTVI onto Abaco. See, a lot of people want to not live with their parents, but living with your parents free. And all I'm saying is, if we figure out a way to get people involved in technical training and give them room and board, many of them would actually go to smaller islands like Abaco, for instance, and do their training there, and the government could incentivize that. And you can't say the government can't do it, because the government incentivizing the National Youth Program, the government incentivizing the Rangers Program, etc., etc. Governments could spend money on whatever they desire. I see that the Deputy Prime Minister went down by King's College the other day because they just started a boarding school program. You follow me? And so I don't know why we aren't giving our because, for instance, when I have a younger brother, believe that or not, right? When my younger brother graduated high school, he was too young to work. It would have been a wonderful alternative to allow him to go to a boarding school in Abaco, where he would get an opportunity to live on his own, kind of like a little Army ROTC academy. You following?
Yes.
But you go there to learn technical skill, and the government bonds you for something like 18 months or something once you're done. So you could get some on-the-ground training with the skill that you just gained over the time that you was in boarding technical school in Abaco. And I would add a dive academy to it, because I don't understand why we have all these children coming out of school. Dive science should be mandatory in all government high schools in the Bahamas. And so should navigational
really
science.
Tailor and specialize the future curriculum to address the not only present needs, but the future needs. And really be able to tailor the type of workforce that we want. A lot of people go off to these foreign universities, get degrees, and they don't, at the end of the day, still have the ability to affect actual change. Because
I have a friend of mine that studied a doctor's level of a degree. And guess what her doctor level degree was in? Leadership. And I think it was strategic system designs. Now, I don't want to knock anyone's degree, but that sounds like plenty nothing to me, right?
And then they want you to call you doctor.
But the point I'm making is, when you go off to school and study for 10 years to study, what it is, leadership and strategic designs, right? What exactly are you coming back to do? Like, that skill set, I'm not exactly sure what you would use it for. And I think we have to move the mind of Bahamians away from believing that they need to study these, there are some very practical things around this country that need fixing. And I think more of us have to focus on those things. I don't think anyone over the age of 18, should not know how to scuba dive in the Bahamas. I don't think anyone over the age of 18 shouldn't know how to plot me a course from Nassau to Hog Island. Because they always on these boats to sail away. Everybody always want to go to Poker Run. I got one bunch of people, they got everything on this boat except for navigational equipment and life-saving equipment. It's because they are just simply untrained. And so we have to create the places where we pass that information on. And what that calls for, caller, to your point is, when we put people in elected office, we have to elect some people that think, I need my MP to come to no funeral. I want a fella stand on his foot in the parliament and enunciate the things that matter to me in a way that is cogent. You follow?
Yes.
Because ultimately, that will change the way the country runs. Yeah. Thank you, though.
Awesome. Yes. Jim, come back in.
Yeah.
What you say?
I thought he said he was going to call back in. Call back again.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what he said.
Well, thank you, caller.
All right, let's take another one. 323-777-5698-0775. And he said that he was like a kind of new caller, so we appreciate new callers.
Indeed.
Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome.
I'm calling about the situation on Joe Farrington Road. I know they were doing road work, but we haven't seen anybody there for a while. The road is in a terrible state.
Where's this?
Was it before or after the rain?
Before the rain, the trench them were open up, right? They put dirt in the trench. When the rain comes, the rain wipe out the dirt. The trench them right back open up in the road again.
And this is on Joe Farrington Road in which area?
It's costing
Which area? Which part of Joe Farrington?
in these cars
Yeah.
Which part of Joe Farrington, caller?
from Seabridge straight to
Fox Hill
Fox
Road?
Hill Road.
Monkey. Wow.
The whole road.
The whole road?
The whole road is nothing but road.
Wow. We got to call Clay. Clay! We got to call Clay.
Something needs to be done immediately.
All right, let's see if we can get the minister to have some sort of an update.
All right, I'll send the information to him right away, okay?
Okay, thank you,
I'll
sir.
do it right now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, 223-7775. I want somebody to call. You only have one lawyer. Is there? I feel like Goliath. Can you find not one legal mind out there to come and contest this idea? Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Good afternoon, Freedom March. Mr. Miller, how you doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm calling because I live in the Joe Farrington Road area.
Okay.
And I can tell you that those people has been working day and night. They are trying to lay the pipes, and then they're going to fix the road.
Oh, okay.
But, the people are there always there. So the road have to be in a mess if it's rain, and then, they trying to patch up the road so you could ride through it. But those people are working.
Yeah.
They are working. So I can tell the caller before me that don't worry, when she look, we'll have do road.
So listen, if you get an opportunity, could you WhatsApp me some pictures to 323-7775? You could WhatsApp that number. Send me the pictures. I want to see what they look like.
Okay, will do.
All right.
Thanks.
Have a good evening.
323-7775-698-0775 or 698-0776. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
You know any calls?
No?
No.
Yeah. So, Bradley, here's my thought. My thought is you get a decent plumber. I say call Brenton Roll. You have a better one?
Who is he?
Brenton Roll is a good plumber.
Okay.
You know a good plumber?
I don't know him.
You can't live this life without a good plumber, Bradley.
Yeah, I know a very good plumber.
What do you name? Because I don't want them to say I bias and I keep calling Brenton name.
Let's call our friend Edward Romer.
He's a good plumber?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can't get Brenton Boo Roll, call Edward Romer.
Yeah.
Right?
He's a good plumber.
But I say call Brenton, right?
Okay.
And you tell Brenton, I want this water problem to stop. And then you let the plumber tell you what he would do to fix the water problem.
Okay.
Right?
You get 2 calls?
Yeah, and I say pump it into some sort of reused water treatment plant because they don't flood. The sewer plant, well, that one may be the best example. The sewer plant that, by Malcolm Park, isn't that the same sewer plant that is responsible for taking care of all of the waste along the whole of Bay Street?
I think it is.
And that don't flood. And that have millions of gallons of water coming to it a week, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Hi, good day. Calling back, I was on the phone earlier.
Okay.
I think the issue with addressing flooding, especially on an island like New Providence, where I believe it's a result of the development. It's a fairly low-lying island with some developments that have been around for decades. I think even if we were to implement a mitigation system, it would only be able to last so long. You know, I'm sure after 5 years, 10 years, new areas may be affected in new ways that would require new solutions. So I think there has to be a long-term vision. And with that vision, there needs to be a methodology of regular implementation and regular mitigation and regular adaptation, because the climate is an ever-changing problem. You know, we could implement something today that works perfectly, and then they may approve 3 new developments that completely change the layout of the land and redistribute flood into an area that never flooded before.
I feel the same way about your pants, caller. I feel like sometimes you buy a pants at the store, it fit perfectly. You wear it to a wedding, they have champagne at the wedding, champagne have bubbles in it, all of a sudden, this pants a little tighter than it normally is. Yes?
Yes.
Sometimes you get a pants, it fits very wonderful while you're in the store. You get home, you put your belt on the pants punching up. You got to go to your tailor and let him put what the old people call 2 darts in the back, yeah? Life is ever evolving. And so all you are asking the people that fix problems is to not be lackadaisical. And if problem fixing is what you are paid to do, then don't ever get tired of doing it. It's as simple as that. You know, caller, people is raw and say that I just have them on the phone too long, right? Right? But ILTV Studio paid me to run a talk show. So sometimes I come in here and I just want to talk till I faint. You see my point? Because if fixing problems is what you just get paid to do, my brother.
You gotta do it.
Don't get what the Bible say. Don't get weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. And my problem with a lot of these technicians is they like to give themselves taps on the back too quickly. They fix one problem, all of a sudden there's this thing and that thing, and they need plaque and monument. No, you fix this problem, wait till the next problem, or start thinking about what the next problem will be.
Yeah, we have to understand that as a archipelagic nation, we have some issues that are just inherent.
Yeah.
You know, climate change, flooding, hurricanes, natural disasters, like everywhere else in the world, this is a part of the problem that we will always have to deal with, and we'll have to always take responsibility to create new solutions.
Absolutely.
What I do know, caller, is water is like an old man. It will always only go where it can get to easily, right? And so the best way to get water to go somewhere is to tell it where to go. And the way you do that is through pumps and force mains. All right? Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March. We got about a minute and a half. Hey, caller.
Hey, good day. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, man. Just calling about the situation at Joe Farman Road. I know it's a mess, man. I don't know one thing in the world is in a mess. I was picking up the road about 8 days right before the storm to pick up some items. I was in a big truck, and that was the rugged ride. All right? I have the dirt road in that big truck and a smoother ride. I don't know what you're talking about. Then,
if you have some pictures, send it to us.
I sent a master to you. Get a flat tire. So, don't roll that box up, man. See, that's be real. That's the way we work it. They don't be work it. Unless they work until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and get off 2:30 or get off 1:30. But they don't meet it. All right?
All right, caller.
I take the picture that you sent it to the number. So you're going to further discuss it next week.
All right.
All right. So Joe Farrington Road is in that state because the water main that runs along the road, it is in a terrible state. And by extension, all of the surrounding areas are suffering from poor water quality. The Ministry of Works is committed to resurfacing the whole road once those problems are corrected. All right. That's
from up high?
Yeah.
I like when the message comes from up high. Yeah. You hear that from up high? All right. What else we got, Bradley? Let's give them some words of encouragement because we have the time. So I ain't taking another call. We got another call? Let's take this last one. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March. Call you there? No? Fantastic.
All
Give
right,
them
so
some
we
words
got a
of
minute.
encouragement.
Well, the weekend is here. We understand that a weather system is going to be passing through again this weekend. And most folks now are starting to cancel their outdoor events. We're going to have some rain. So more likely, we have some more flooding. whatever you do, don't lose hope. Levan is the #1 engineer now, and no
Yes.
doubt we're going to solve these issues. But above all, PGF, whatever you do, put God first. And don't forget, this coming weekend, the Church of Christ is inviting you. We have a Bring Your Friend Day at the Highbury Park Church of Christ. So you're invited. I'm personally inviting everyone who knows me to come and meet with us on Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. at the Highbury Park Church of Christ building that's located Petersfield and Guildford Road.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get the first day of the week started off on the right foot.
Yeah. And my advice to you all ahead of the storm, call the cesspit truck early tomorrow morning and pump your cesspit and pump your Socoby. Because plenty of y'all, the water from the road ain't flood your house. The septic overflow and the water come underneath the toilet in the tub because it ain't got nowhere else to go. If the cesspit empty, the earth gotta fill that up before it fill your house. Anyway, it's the weekend. Do every single thing in your power to make sure you don't kill nobody. More important than that, make sure nobody don't kill you, and we'll see you right here next week.
If it's the Lord's will, we'll be back.